Yes.
Years ago, the Quranic Index?
Yes, yes, yes.
I went to that, right?
Yeah.
And I looked up and it said, the ayah said that when people who listen to the Quran don't listen to it in truth
Right.
and accept it for what it is,
Right.
that Allah puts a deafness in their ears.
Yeah.
They hearing it, but they ain't hearing it.
They're not hearing it, yeah.
And I was looking at him when I was talking to him, because every time he's engaged.
Yeah.
And I was running down him, and his mind was wandering here and there. And then next thing you know, his blabbermouth chick was in there. She got to running it. And so when she got to running it, I just shut up. You know, I said, hey man, but now the guy that owned the shop, Roger,
Right.
he said, yeah, he said, I remember you said Islam was the solution. I said, yeah, but everybody else jumped in after that and got to running off. I said, hey man, you got to go back to the source.
Yes, right.
That's how you get back. You got to go back to the source. I said, ain't nobody doing what Allah asked you to do. Be obedient. I said, that's what you got to do. I said, but I ain't get to that point because it's like that's not what they, you know, they're looking for a humanistic answer. And it ain't, it's beyond a human. It's Allah. You got to go to what Allah say do. You got to, and they, hey man, they
it's like the dear Muslims. The dear Muslims too. They want, right? They want to, okay, we'll crank up. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala khairul mursaleen. Muhammadin al-Nabi al-Ummi. Wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ijma'in. Amma ba'd, yaqulu Allahu ta'ala fil Quran al-Kareem, inna Allaha wa malaikatuhu yusalluna ala nabi. Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu sallu alayhi wa sallimu tasliman. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Maulana Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Well, I might as well
To the microphone,
get a little noise here. Of course, this is, what is it, Sunday, the third day. Okay, alhamdulillah, at least we got past April Fools, all right. From now on, we're gonna, our main classes for this period will be this class and the Brotherhood class. And the Jummah will shorten it and go back to religious, social, you know, mainly kind of like we used to a long time ago, 45-minute khutbah, and not try to explain, because I've been trying to work out a system for a long time, but it doesn't work for Jummah. The Jummah, no matter what you do, you got to get back to the religious aspect, and you have to, when you're standing there and you have references all around, it's different than sitting right here. This is like a classroom, and that's what the whole thing is about anyway. So the Brotherhood class and this class on Sunday will be, inshallah, the main teaching aspect. And remember, that's the purpose of all of this anyway. The whole purpose of everything that we've been doing is not only for us to learn and acquire the knowledge and information and the ability to implement, you know, what we believe is Allah's plan. And I believe we stick reasonably close to Quran and Hadith, no matter what it sounds like. Because sometimes it does sound colored, but it's not. It's actually coming right from the Quran and Hadith. And that's been our safety net all the time. It's anybody's safety net if they're Muslim. But we have not tried to shade the Quran, to ease it to what we want, because we would be like all the other Muslims, especially the Arab-speaking Muslims. They know what it's saying. They know what the Quran is saying. But like you was talking about a minute ago, the people that don't want to hear, it says that Allah puts a seal over their heart. And then in some cases, Allah is talking about a gishawa. Gishawa is kind of like a curtain or a veil. Yeah, and sometimes, you know, there's things that are opaque. There's things that you can't see through at all. You know, they have different names for it. But there's things that you could see a little, sometime a certain type of curtain, you could see light through there and other things, but you couldn't make out what's really going on. And sometimes that's the way Allah does the believers and the non-believers. They don't want to see. So they can see there's something going on back there, but it does not appeal to what they want. And some of the ayats say they just throw a thing over their head and they just don't want to hear nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we haven't been like that. And I only can speak from personally, this is the healthiest, the happiest, the most wonderful part of my life. And I'm telling you, I'm talking about all the adventure. Because for me, life has been an adventure. You know, when you're kids and you read them adventure books, well, it's been an adventure because I know, well, everything that's happened has been a big adventure. And when I was getting ready to leave the country back in 71, I was telling my family, kids didn't care. They was 6 and 7, 6 and 2 years old. They care less. I say, y'all can go with me and, you know, we can, we'll let, you know, your sister live in the house and everything. And I could imagine my poor ex-wife, she was visualizing on the run, like something like they see on TV and the movies, we ducking behind buildings. And I said, no, we're going to be, you know, we're going to be on the road, you know. We're going to enjoy the world. We got money. We're just going to enjoy things. And we're going to go through some experience. And after we do all of that, we'll come back and see about what's happening here. But I'm not going down and sit up in the penitentiary right now. They've been messing with me and been doing all this, and they've been having their way. Well, we're going to move out of his arena and go and do what we want to do. And then I went to the library and I got several things like French tapes because I was going to Algeria. So, you know, Comment Allez-vous and all of that. And then if this is 71 or somewhere around there, you could imagine the books in the library. I went and got an encyclopedia on Algeria. So if this was 71, just imagine the encyclopedia. Britannica probably had stuff from 65, maybe even it looked like it was 61. And they had people, they had camels in there, you know, in Algeria in those days, as soon as you leave out of city, that's what you ran into. In the old days, you know, because Algeria is a big desert, except that Mediterranean coast. Everybody looks like Mediterranean, it's nice weather. But after going about 100 miles south, people start turning black looking and you into Africa. So anyway, they didn't want to come. They didn't want to come, so I went. And it was the greatest adventure of my life at that time. All Asia, Africa, South America, everything you read about, and then go and start making money again and hustling. This is a great adventure. That's what this is. This is an adventure. But to the people, it don't look like no adventure. It looked like miserable. They looking at it like, if the Americans was doing this to me, I would be panicked. Well, they would, because they're not training themselves according to Allah's plan. They're not reading what the Quran says. Allah will not burden the people beyond their capacity to bear. So when Allah put a burden on you, that means that you now got something to shoot for. Or in many cases, Allah trained you before you get to that point. So you can bear a burden. like a weightlifter, heavier than others because you train with weights. Somebody else try to deadlift 500 pounds or something, they'll break their back. But if you've been doing it all the time, it's normal. You might even warm up with 300-400 pounds, and before you know it, you're doing sets with 500 pounds. A bar is bending there because that's what you do. That means that your body and your mind, your whole system acquires the characteristics necessary to participate in whatever you're doing. And that's the way this is right now. So I'm going to go right into the subject for the day. And I'll start by reading a nice little outline. It's called Asymmetric Warfare. Asymmetric warfare, this is a definition. Asymmetric warfare is war between belligerents whose relative military power differs significantly or whose strategy or tactics differ significantly. Asymmetric warfare can be described as a conflict in which the resources of the two belligerents differ in essence and in the struggle, interact, and attempt to exploit each other's characteristic weakness. Such struggles often involve strategies and tactics of unconventional warfare. The weaker combatant attempting to use strategy to offset deficiencies in quantity or quality. Such strategies may not necessarily be militarized. This is in contrast to symmetric warfare, where two powers have similar military power and resources and rely on tactics that are similar overall, differing only in details and execution. Then I may read a little more here. It says, the term is also frequently used to describe what is called guerrilla warfare, insurgency, terrorism, counterinsurgency, and counterterrorism. Essentially violent conflict between a formal military and an informal, less equipped and supported, undermanned but resilient opponent. Undermanned but resilient opponent. If you remember, we use that word resilience all the time. Resilience means the ability to bounce back into shape after you've been bent and twisted and contorted all out of shape. Resilience means that you can spring back into your original form. And that's what resilience is. This is also talking about exactly what we do. It's a small power, us, deficient in quality and quantity, whether it's men, material, money, all of that. We're dealing with still the wealthiest, most sophisticated society temporarily in the world. It's losing fast. It's going downhill fast. And we are like what we have here. This is it. Well, if you want to see the rebellion, this is it right here. This is the rebellion. Okay, so of course everybody would laugh, but if they knew history, they wouldn't laugh. But here's the point. The weaker combatants attempting to use strategy to offset deficiencies in quantity and quality. Such strategies may not necessarily be militarized. I want to mention a little bit today about our policy. Was it haphazard? Was we trapped into this? Or how did we arrive at our policy of delay, our policy of psychological guerrilla warfare? How did it develop? Well, briefly, it developed over a long period of time. Because in the early years, we were younger and we thought about jihad a lot. But we had to develop a policy for inside of the United States. Of course, we studied Palestine, we studied Iran, Iraq War. We're actually a part of all of those struggles. Remember, our activity includes, when they talk about Syria, I got pictures of all the Syrian ulama and everything, you know. And I remember when Rabbani, the ex-president of Afghanistan, was killed. He was killed 2011 on September 17th or 18th. I think he left. We had the big conference in Iran, and it was a global conference, all the good people that we think about now. It was the Awakening Conference. And the reason I remember the date so well is because I gave an interview. It's on TV with Muhammad Al-Asi and myself. It's on there right now. It was on September the 17th. Okay, I remember I was saying, no, it's not only Greece, it's not only Ireland, it's not only all these Europeans. I said, but that struggle is going to come to America very soon. Well, September 17th, later that evening, September 17th, when the time passed over here, it was the same day that the Wall Street movement started. Oh, yeah. So we're talking about the same thing, but now Rabbani, he went back home, and he's going back to do his part in unifying Afghanistan, and peace between Taliban and all of that. And when the Taliban came with a turban on, and he was waiting for him, and he pulled a string and blew up, so I'm saying is we are in hand-to-hand contact, face-to-face contact with all the people who are struggling around the world. Not only are we now, but we always have been. The thing about it, after Dr. Kaleem Siddiqui passed away, our friends tried to nullify and isolate us and cut us off. Our friends, our so-called allies, they was vicious about, about this trying to isolate, manipulate, and cut off. And if you think about every time we was cut off or held up at an airport around the world or anything like that, they organize every one of them programs. They're the ones that organize it. So they know when I'm going to get there, what time, and they want to turn me around. They let me get on the plane, and I go to head into Lebanon. I'm going to transfer in the UK. And they said, well, you got to go back to the U.S. I said, you could have said that when I was in Dallas, if you didn't want me to pass through your place. I said, plus, you got 3 armed guards that are waiting for me when I get off the plane. That means that you knew what you was going to do from Jump Street. Plus, I'm not signing any paper. They give you a paper that's like you're trying to enter the country. Mm-hmm. So I'm in transit. They said, well, would you fill that out? I said, no. That's an entrance. I said, I'm transiting. I said, if I fill that out, that would seem like I'm trying to come into the UK and you're denying me the right to come in the UK, which is your right. I said, but I'm not technically, I'm in transit. That means I'm not technically in the UK. I'm going, when you go in the airport, it says transit. Mm-hmm. And you just go right on that way. Anyway, so we have to choose. Even now, an outline for future for Oakland and for DC. So our prospects for the future are clear. what we was working toward all the time. That is education and transformation. That is our duty. When we talk about things like re-Africanization of the Islamic movement in North America, we can remember the Negro community, state of Black American Muslim community. Remember that? That's manna. They got a kitchen cloth and everything. They got all the people, Imam Siraj, they got the chiefs there, Zaid Shaker, Sherman Jackson, all the people that agree. They got Hassan Bagby, University of Cairo. They got Deir Jahari. That might have been the same year. Was that 2007? This is 2007 in Philadelphia. I think it was 2008 when we went there and passed out all the flyers.
Yeah, November.
November, yeah. This is November 2007. I'm thinking that this is not the program. That ours might have been 2008. I know it was 2008 because 2007 was the time we was on what's the program? Fox News and all that.
Oh,
that was 2007. It could be. Whatever it is, here it is. Manna. They're supposed to be talking about basically the same subject. Black American Muslim community, assessment and analysis for an achievable agenda. Yes.
So who are they now?
Somebody, something like that.
Are they still supposed to?
They're the same thing as manna.
Are they supposed to still have that same focal point?
Their idea is to block any movement. See, that's something natural goes on in America, all over the world. I don't know whether it's every 40 years or every such and such. Seems like there's a movement for human revival, something like that. Every so many years or decades. Okay, it was the 20s here, Harlem Renaissance. It was the 60s, you know. Then we have now. Well, the U.S. is aware of the first time they started this was in about 78. Some of the same people, they call it confederation or something. Because the groups was breaking up, the Islamic movements was reforming, so they're gonna hook up their crew to collect all of that unity and all of that desire. You know, it's a desire. When you're young, you have a desire to get married, you know. So they're gonna stick you a wife out there to get married to. This is common. Okay, so during this period, the general African American Muslim community has weakened during this period when they started a couple of years before that, 2005 and all that. So there's a natural desire for us to be unified. Plus, we're talking all the time, this name about agenda and, you know, Islamic agenda in North America, you know what I mean, recapturing we have CDs on all of those subjects. So they developed this manner and they wanted me to be a part of it. I wasn't going to be a part of it, but Imam Jamil asked me to be a part of it. I said, okay, I'll go ahead. But the first day I got there, the first meeting in Philadelphia, they got they crew, they there to do what they want to do. So Siraj is the manager, Hamza Yusuf is there, all the people is there. And I'm trying to be courteous, so I will raise my hand and talk. They never recognized me all the time I was there. Here's Hamza Yusuf talking about, yes, the earth rotates 23 degrees on its axis and all that. It don't have nothing to do with nothing. And before it's over, Siraj says, well, Imam Zayd, I'll offer you my allegiance.
Hey,
Yeah. Zayd says, no, I'll offer you. But I said, fine. I came to two or three more meetings, but I was just finished. And after they did what they did here, said no more. So anyway, that's what this was. If you notice, if we had an open letter to the people of Oakland, 2 months later, our friend has an open letter. Remember that open letter? That was in there. Yeah, open letter to that. It's the same copycat stuff. Okay, for a while he had a letter about Malcolm. We have been neglecting. We jumped over everything in our community to help everybody else, and we have neglected Malcolm X. But we're going to refocus. It was just one little note, darling. He didn't never mention Malcolm again. It was because we was talking about beyond Malcolm, not only following up on what he was talking about, but also going beyond during our own time. So this is what we're dealing with, yes.
At the conference in Philly, I remember your home after you came up with the concept of paradigm shift.
Right.
The brother in Philly, your homeboy, writes a book called Paradigm Shift.
Paradigm Shift. Marty Bray.
Marty Bray.
Marty Bray was up in Seattle. The brother called me mad. You want me to go up there and jump on him? I said no. Because he was dealing with our CDs and DVDs up around Seattle. Imam Musa, he up there talking about paradigm shift, just like in your article. I said, it's okay. I said, that's fine. I say, that's our job right now. They're not going to let us on the podium, so we put the message out, yes.
See, they don't understand that's a dangerous thing to do.
Yes.
If you're not serious, because you can also suffer the Al-Moody syndrome. Because that's what got him tightened up, knowing what we're going to say, jumping out front and talking all that talk, and you see where he at. So if you say that stuff and you just trying to get popular, you don't really believe it, you better be careful.
Or make money.
Or, yes, make money or, okay. For us, whatever they do is their business. We'll just go through some of the things. So prospects, anybody that's going to do anything should have goals. As main parts of goal setting is it should be clear and concise what we want to do. If you look at all our literature, all our goals have been re-Africanization of the Islamic movement, de-Israelization, balanced space awareness, Islamic dialectical idealism, College of Islamic Movement Studies, and Department of Strategic and Islamic Studies. Okay, we already have all the property for all of that. So that's what we're getting ready to do now. We told them we was going to do it 10 years ago. But our strategy has been the same. It's always been against the normal process. The normal process is definitely don't tell your enemy what you're going to do, and even your friends don't, unless they actually going to help you in it, don't tell nobody, because people have a habit, a tendency of wanting to stick their foot out in the way and trip you up. They just do that. It's not, because remember, if you're successful, just think about somebody who's just like you, look like you, went to the same school you did, all y'all played together, and you become successful, what they call, and they don't. So if you become successful, you make them look bad. You know, and you look bad, they look bad to everybody. Their wife, their friends, their children saying, Daddy, why they got a certain type of car and we don't? Daddy, why they live over there and we don't? We used to live in the same neighborhood. Daddy, they're gonna ask, they don't know what they're asking. but they're asking it. One of the meanest things we used to do with white folks, we had these big pretty cars. In them days cars was different and they meant something. We'd pull up to a white man and his family in a station wagon, and we would look at them like, you know, old raggedy car. And the kids, you just, Daddy, look at that nigger. Daddy, look at that nigger. And we used to do it on purpose, you know, and it would make that cracker feel so. Lucky they wasn't carry guns, but we had ours, we could protect ourselves. It was horrible, it's mean. It's mean to do that to them people. But that's all we knew. You done kept us down. Here you are, now we on the road. Why you still poor, white man, or why you a middle class cracker and we rich niggas? And everything is against us. It was cruel, it was mean. But we did it anyway. We wouldn't do it now. No, but remember you, okay. So goals should be clear, where everybody understand what the goals are. Then there's such things as goal commitment. How much are you committed to that goal? Because as the third part is goal difficulty. It's got to be clear what you want to do, and it's going to be difficult. So how much commitment you're going to have. Those last two are very important, just like the first one is. Goal commitment and goal difficulty. Our strategy has been the same. We put our goals out there way ahead of time to let them come out and try to stop us. And we don't put up no resistance at all. Why should we put up resistance? Because they just wear us out. That's why they would wear us out. We would be using up our little energy trying to get somewhere, and they got a whole system. And we know what we're doing is monitored. Whether it's Sri Lanka, whether it's South Africa, whether it's Iran, everything that's going on is real. We're not imagining things. What's going on, the people at Dar al-Hijra got an attitude, the people out in Sterling have an attitude. Even our people right out there, whether it's College Park or on out, why do all the imams got something? Yes, you can come raise funds. Then we get there for the Juma, and there's a guy with a box of cereal. Okay, well, you can come back next week, in 2 weeks. Oh, why are you here, Imam Musa? Well, you said that I could come back. Did I say that? And I go right, I said, see your calendar on your wall calendar? You marked it right on there. See right there? Imam Musa. See it right there. My goodness, I forgot. I said, yeah. You know, I told Imam so-and-so, I said, you just had a little heart attack and you're a little older than I am, you know what I mean? That means he's 70-something here. I said, I wouldn't let nobody steal my akara from me. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't let no jokers and bums, you know, he's been an Islam man. We was studied together at Islam in 87. So you know how long he was an Islam man. I said, I wouldn't let nobody steal my akara from me by messing around, you know what I mean? But that's their business. So goal clarity, goal difficulty. How difficult is it going to be, and how much commitment will it take to do it? So what we've been working toward all along is the case study type of historical process. That it's been the case study, but it's also been experimental. Remember, how do you deal with a global power internally and still be connected to the Islamic movement externally without getting killed and without going to jail? How are we going to do that? Well, that's what it's asymmetric warfare. So when a small group of people that are deficient in quality and quantity and material carries on a non-militant, non-violent struggle inside of a society. That's what we've been doing all the time. And by the time it was clear, by the time we came here in '89, it was clear that was the struggle from then on. We arrived at that because I spent quite a while overseas, early part of '89 up until I came here in June. So I spent several months overseas. And I realized that nobody have any idea or any thought of what to do in America. First of all, our other brothers just finishing up a war. Then this big chaos and everything. And plus, when they were here, they were students. Their job wasn't here. When I see all the brothers now who are big time and they're careerists in politics or what have you, okay, this has been my job from day one. So my job don't change. You know what I mean? It evolves, but it don't change. They were students here, studying engineering, studying da-da-da-da-da. And so when they got back home, they went into what would become their career. Well, this is our career right here, what we do right here inside of the United States. So we had to figure out what type of policy should we have. Now, remember, we go over the COINTEL program, we go over everything to find out what has happened to people that have tried this before. You know, what's happened to them? How did they come out? So we had to do a lot of what this is called strategic thinking. This is one of the new strategic thinking. That means we later call it strategic management under conditions of repression. How to manage Islamic movement in America under 24-hour surveillance with no help for nobody. And everybody is on the other team. See, that's what this asymmetric warfare, or symmetric warfare is like when Germany and Japan and Italy was fighting Great Britain, the U.S., and the other allies. The allies against the Axis power. That was symmetric warfare. So it turns on production, some tactics, a little good luck here and there, a few mistakes. Hitler make a few big mistakes and blunders. They take advantage of those. Okay, so that's symmetric warfare. Asymmetric warfare is we don't have, in the latter part, no friends. Iranians and non-Iranians. No friends. Pakistanis or Arabs. That means the people that was in charge. Remember, the COINTEL program will insinuate people inside of the agenda. That's why you don't see us, even with friends with the guys at that time, you don't see our name on nothing. The only way we got that is when y'all went up there at that time, right? That was either 2008 or 2007. Well, it was in November.
It's 2008.
2008, yeah. Passed out flyers. I did the Juma here, came up the next day, everybody was smiling, happy to see Imam Musa. They didn't have no more programs like that after that. Why? Because we stole the show.
Siraj is burning up.
He was burning up, and so was all the rest. Can you imagine how mad they was? We ain't spit a dime. When y'all went up there passing out flyers, and one of them was it was 2008, because one of them had that newspaper big face of the newspaper article from Washington Post, and passed that out and everything else. So you notice I still didn't speak on no platform. It was always with the people. And we passing out free CDs and all that, and DVDs, and everybody getting our name and address, and everybody hooking up and all of that. Okay, yes.
That's the first time I've known Siraj for a minute.
Right.
He gritted on me, man. He's
Yeah.
up there. I was looking at him, man. He gritted on me. I was
Yeah.
looking at him. I said, "Oh, Lee, is it that bad?"
Yeah. Oh, it was serious. I'll try to speed up. Review various, how we engineered it is the question, and we'll move toward how did we engineer a lot of this. Okay. Here's 2011 Design Fitna. A lot of people remember that. Design Fitna. Okay, we tell people that we're getting the fitna that we want because we design it. This is from 9/11/13. Okay, it says right up here at the top, Oakland will close down. I just made a little note up at the top with all of this is street prayer, all kind of stuff. Loud talk to white man, Iranian security, all of that. It's just a little note. You know where you have all of those. But it says 2 years ahead of time, Masjid in Oakland will close down. They don't know it and nobody else knows it. That means we're going to engineer the situation where we'll close Masjid Al-Islam down.
And they gonna help.
But not only going to help, boy, they help big time. They stretch out. That's what human engineering is. Remember, we got to fight a war, and we don't have anything.
Right.
Okay, by this time, we had, when we bought that masjid, we opened in 1980, and that went, so by 81, we had bought the masjid in Oakland, but we remodeled it like here. So we didn't open it until a year and a half later almost. I think January 1983, we actually opened an official program, you know. Okay, all the time we're going through changes and we're learning. By 1983, we done got plenty of game already. Not only what we had acquired in Jahiliyyah. You have to remember colonialism, the drug trade on this side of the world, all of the policies. I remember in 1973 in Colombia, we had a place right across from the Venezuelan embassy on Septimo. That means 7th Street. And I sat right in the middle of all the people we was working with. They was all white boys. And I just told them, I said, I'm tired of y'all acting like the police. It's okay if you're the police, but you gotta stop acting like the police. Now, at that time, it's okay now, people can be police, act like it don't make a difference now, but at that time, you know, look, this is crime. It's not like now. Although they initiate the crime, they support the crime, all the stuff, they aid and assist in it, but you can't prove it. So, if you got a house full of dope, and the police is at the door, you gotta run or throw the dope away or something, because this is technically illegal. Okay, they can't do that to us now because we're 100% legal, clean as a whistle, and you can't do nothing to us now, right? So we don't care who people are. We just know one thing. We have to develop a plan, and a scheme, and a process to reach an Islamic destination, and doing it in a way that it educates everybody that they can do the same thing or better. So it can't be secret. It has to be open. each stage, if you notice our stages, each stage became more and more clear, more and more open. If we go back, say, 97 on back, 98 on back, everybody did their little stupid stuff, but nobody, you didn't tag a sign on nobody saying these is polices and all that. Why? It wasn't the time. And it wasn't clear enough. If you accused everybody of being the police, you would look, it'd look kind of sad. What, everybody's the police? Everybody? Yes, everybody's the police. Well, it's okay. But now, if you have the clowns in Oakland, if they have somebody run into the masjid and leave the front all left hanging for 2 years, and people call you from Oakland saying, hey man, your joint's still open, it's look kind of messed up out front. That means Abdul Malik and them let it stay like that. And the car running into the front of the masjid was something that they knew I would accept, because in 1984, my sons and I would sleep in the front of the masjid. And so we hear a noise, and I look up and I see light outside. Why? Because a Mustang hit the curb and trying to get up in there and kill us. But it hit a pillar. Yeah, it hit a pillar on the side, and it veered it off. So if we're right here, right, it hits the curb, that throws it, you know what I mean? And he ain't coming straight on, he's coming, it would be ridiculous for you to back across the street, then drive straight into a building. So you gotta pretend like you, hit it sideways. When he hit it sideways, the first wheel threw it over a little bit. That made it hit one of the pillars. Then that veered it off, so it skeets across the side, then hit the next pillar and goes out into the street. Well, so they thought that we'll tell them that, yeah, just like the car came up. Now that same guy that was doing this, we said, well, okay, he just driving crazy. I said, no problem, just give me your driver's license, I'll take the number, and you can call a tow truck, and you can go on before the police come. I ain't giving you nothing. Bam! So I hit him and he stumbled. You know where you get, my 2 sons is out there too. So then you have a peace, we'd all have peace in the day. So he must have called the police, because the police was right around the corner waiting. Because the police come up, and this nigga walks over to the police and whispers in his ear, and the police come, and just luckily, I gave my piece to my son when I saw the police pull up and told him to take it inside. And he did, and came back out. The police walks up to me and pats me down. So why are you doing that? I said, you might have a gun. I said, what do I have now? So that was all arranged. Now, years later, they said, well, a car runs into the masjid. Well, I don't believe it, because I didn't believe the first time, but that's what they want to tell us. Okay, so then we have other stuff like trying to make you mad. Help us rebuild Masjid Al-Islam under new leadership. This is Mukhtar. This is pitiful. This is a couple of years ago. Masjid Al-Islam under new leadership. Him. And he gives all of his little details, and he tells the people that, well, your donation is tax deductible. He's using our tax number and tax ID. And he's telling all the great stuff that he's done. Alhamdulillah, Masjid Al-Islam has been serving the community for the past 35 years. There's 5 daily prayers, pre-fifth grade madrasa funeral services, feeding the needy families, family nights, aqiqas, marriages, shahadas, taleems, Ramadan, iftars, Eids, and zakat distribution. For the last 6 years, Masjid Al-Islam has been faced with some difficulties, paying basic bills and debts. That's a 100% lie. I've been going out there paying all the bills, all the time. This is due to Imam Musa, a.k.a. Clarence Ring, Big Hank, arrogance and truly bad behavior toward his leadership, which just happens to be myself, Amir Mukhtar Ali Mujahid, as well as my wife of 22 years, Khadija Mujahid. Let's not forget the small community who had just guests in Masjid Al-Islam. We have removed Imam Abdul Musa from all power and control of masjid funds and decision-making, as well as planning, on and on and on. So he says that they need $22,000 to pay a lien on the property that they developed. See, Mukhtar, this is our property right here. This looks a lot bigger than it looks. It goes all the way back. Now, Mukhtar lives across the street. That's where he was supposed to stay. It's an apartment complex across the street. 8110. Okay. Now these buildings, 8109, 8111, 8121, 81. Okay. Mukhtar begged, please, 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 since Abdul Malik is gone, let me help. I said, well, Mukhtar, da, 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 da. So he pleads. I said, okay. I said, so you're going to stay there in your apartment and you're going to help manage this? I said, because see, I'm going to be gone to D.C. a lot, and I'm going to come and do this, that, and others I usually do. Oh, I got it covered. As soon as he gets there, he moves to 66th Avenue. This is like 82nd Avenue. That's several blocks away.
16 blocks away.
Yeah. Then, 2 months later, he moves all the way to Berkeley. Okay. Mukhtar came up until these things developed. Mukhtar came to the masjid twice a week only. Our phone number, he put it on some internet thing, and Mook took the phone out, took out all communication with the masjid.
How far away is Berkeley from Oakland?
Berkeley is like Oxon Hill or something. Oakland is next to Berkeley, but that's about he was about 20 miles away. Okay, see, if you live on the premises, it's like you and I live here. We can cut grass, we can do everything. You can do a whole lot, one person, because you're here. You can supervise, you know, it looks like a whole team. But anyway, I don't want to belabor the point, but he's telling the people he's collecting money, and he's got a phone number, he got a bank account, and then this is so-called harassing me. They want me to tell them, you can't raise no money, you can't do that, you don't have nothing. I didn't tell them nothing. I didn't even, and see, they put it to where this is one of the return to sender, you know. They supposedly sent these out, and a lot of them came back to the masjid when I was there. And he had placed around where I would see them, like when I work out in the other building. He put them there, and he put all the stuff, so I'll see the stuff. The point is, we know where we are, we know where we're coming from, because we know that it is not possible for Dar al-Hijra, for Faisal Khan, for Research Center, for everybody has the inability to say Assalamu alaikum to us. You ever notice that? How is it possible? Okay, just think about here. We haven't did nothing to nobody, except when they wanted help. We'd be willing to help everybody. Okay, then how is it that everybody in the region, everybody, is hostile to Masjid Al-Islam? How is that possible? Unless we're on one team, the truth team, and they all on the other team, and they all up to something, because all of their behavior to us is silly. Then, now suppose we got the same thing in Oakland. We've been doing Oakland for like 36, 7 years, and everybody knows us, right? So how is it that somebody can come and do all of that stuff? Now remember, imagine, now it's all on Crescent, and now it's in the media. Just like what we're doing now goes on that's a counteroffensive for us. This right here, what we're doing now, is an educational counteroffensive. Because we let them talk all they wanted, and we didn't say nothing for years. For the last 3 years, we ain't had nothing to say about nobody. But we know what they up to. You know, we know they're trying to steal money. Bank of America sends, when they acting with sense, they send, this is from the fraud detail. I send them all information back. They straighten it out one time and then do it again and then just shifted all this. But so it's all paperwork. They know what they're doing. They're trying to get us, right? Since we manage fitna, since we initiate psychological guerrilla warfare, they're trying to use psychological warfare on us. The only thing is, it doesn't work at all. Why? Because there's nothing nobody can do to us. We don't break any laws, and anything you do, it's going to be seen by everybody else. This is the beautiful point about everything that's happened recently. Khadijah called me on the phone. Yeah, trying to sound like a Pakistani, and you know, she did it the other week. It sounded like another Negro woman. I kind of knew it was her, not because of the phone number shows up. So anyway, I said, yes, ma'am. Well, I got married at Masjid Al-Islam, and I just want, I said, there's nobody supposed to be there. We have people check, and nobody's supposed to be there. Well, how you gonna close the masjid? I said, because that's, when I come out there, I'll explain it to you, lady. It's the house of Allah. I said, the house of Allah is not supposed to be assaulted by a Negro. Well, you ain't no good. I said, oh, so it's you, Khadijah. Yes, yes, yes. You ain't no good. You thought you was gonna be rich all the time. We got your money. I said, you can have anything you can get. Anything you got, you can have it. It's yours. Okay, they don't know what that means, but, and then you gotta remember, psychological guerrilla warfare, design fitna. What do they want? They want us to run down to the court. They want us to run down everywhere. They didn't give us a case that you can't lose. There's no way, you can't do what they did. It's illegal. It's clear, it ain't no problem. But why don't we respond? We don't respond to their initiative, but we have to take full advantage of everything so that we don't lose an initiative. Let me put it this way. If they attack us, we have a policy of getting benefit out of any attack. Okay? So, if this attack is to put it in court where maybe we can sue them for $1 million or something, and that's their way of saying, let's bury the hatchet. Well, we're not going to do it that way. If you're going to straighten this thing out, you come and sit down and say, we're going to straighten this out, and just because you was right, we're just doing this just because it's the right thing to do, because we're good people. I said, sure. I said, that's fine, okay? Now, but suppose we're gonna make sure that if we don't go through the court procedure, how are we gonna benefit? Well, that's why we got our trips to Africa and Asia hooked up, inshallah, for next month, maybe one trip pre-Ramadan to tell everybody in the world. And that's their way of saying, let's bury the hatchet. Well, we're not going to do it that way. If you're going to straighten this thing out, you come and sit down and say, we're going to straighten this out. And just because you was right, we're just doing this just because it's the right thing to do, because we're good people. I said, sure. I said, that's fine, okay? Now, but suppose we're going to make sure that if we don't go through the court procedure, how are we going to benefit? Well, that's why we got our trips to Africa and Asia hooked up, inshallah, for next month, maybe one trip pre-Ramadan to tell everybody in the world what we've been dealing with here in America. People want to hear it. Here's a thing from the Islamic invitation in Turkey. This is from Turkey. Everybody in the world knows about Masjid Al-Islam. Everybody makes dua for us. We can tell because we ain't having no problems. Okay, the money. Don't worry about the money. One thing that Allah gives you is to let them know we have evolved beyond money. Now, you don't always know what Allah wants you to know. You know what I mean? That's what tafweed, delegation of your affairs to Allah. Now, I'm setting them up all the time. Yeah, we ain't been broke, because this is what Khadijah says all the time. You talk about you ain't never been broke. Well, you broke now. I said, actually, the dear brother is not broke. And ain't losing no sleep. Have you ever noticed that? So the other snitch down there, the neighbor as we call her, you got to call them and tell. They just called and said they paid the taxes. I said they should have paid the taxes out there. They just took the money. I said, of course, now I'm going out there just to make sure and do all other, but it don't make no difference. I said, finally paying a tax after you take money out of it ain't yours. I said, these things has never happened in history. Why are we not upset? Why are we not jumping? Because we said years ago, we're going to close down Oakland anyway, but it's going to be on our terms. What's the next design fitna? When you design your own fitna, remember, we have to develop a way of management that will work inside of this society. And it can't, usually the characteristics, if we follow, here's everything they doing, provoking, jumping up in your face, talking crazy. The average Negro would shoot them on the spot, just like that. Everybody would. It ain't nobody would just fold their arms and look at them like that. They wouldn't do it. Okay, you gotta remember our policy that we learned a long time ago. Remember when the guys was trying to start a fight with us with them Negroes, when all them Negroes was up there? We didn't respond. The other Negroes right across the street, we didn't respond. But during that same period, when the police, when we was coming from our program, every time we have something with the police, we respond to the police. That's exactly opposite of what all niggas do. And remember, we said it, we do not like niggas. That when the police come, they throw their guns away and they shoot the house up and kill all their wife and kids and everybody. I said, we don't like niggas like that. You know why? Because that's the way we've always been. we had the most powerful gang organization that they ever had in Northern California. Before, during, and after. Ain't nobody, we never even beat nobody up. Never even, that nigga owes us some money. Well, stop selling him dope. You gave him something without him paying for it? Well, let's come out of your stuff then. You ain't going, we ain't looking for nobody that owes us $50. Shoot, later on in the 80s, the niggas was burning each other up with gasoline and everything for $50. I said, man, them niggas ain't gonna have no money. They ain't gonna have no money.
All over the country they was doing that.
Everywhere they was doing it. The niggas slaughtered each other and didn't kill no white folks. Now, police. Not a one that I heard of. Maybe one jumped in the way of a bullet. He was trying to shoot another nigga. Our policy is different. We do not, we believe in wahda. Wahda is, we said wahda for the Muslim, but we also mean it for our people. And everybody knows it now, and they was trying to exploit that. Everything that ever happened to us, we absorbed the punishment. We absorbed the blows, it wasn't punishment. So, Mukhtar thought, well, what I'll do is, I'm going to be a provocateur. The government told me if we push long enough, they're going to respond. It didn't work. So they had to come with more and more, all of it on the surface. That's where all the articles come from. That's where everything comes from. It's all on the surface. Why? Because we engineered it like that. And now the whole world knows about what's been going on in Oakland and D.C. for 35 years. Now when we go to raise funds, we can tell them the story of the Islamic movement in North America because nobody else can. There's a few things that are very critical to that too. We have proven our ability. This is 4/16/11. It's on the grassy knoll. This is the grassy knolls where Kennedy got shot. But right here, we have something that's called Israeli influence. And then we have, number one, protracted struggle. This is when the Arab Spring is jumping off. Number one, it will be no Arab Spring. Remember, this is about the second, if it started on February 11th, somewhere like that, the Arab Spring. This is too much later. We're saying it's a protracted struggle. Step one, number two, step one, destabilize it. They're going to destabilize it. Step two, it'll be temporary transformation. The Ikhwan took power in Egypt, and Al-Nada took power in Tunisia, only for a minute. Step three, organizing unity of opposition. Unity of opposition. Who is the unity of opposition? Now we have dear Russia, right? Iraq, Iran, and Syria. Against who? The Americans, the Israelis, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and all of those bombs. Before, we was all by ourselves. That meant, now, the date is on there, 4/16/11. Number three, unity of opposition, semi-consolidation. Semi-consolidation is exactly what you're seeing right now in Syria. Syria just took another area today before it took Palmyra and all of that. Mm-hmm. Right, yeah. Semi. Number four, regional vision. When this was written, there was no reason for a regional vision. Everybody had an Egyptian vision, Tunisian vision, but the creation of Daesh and ISIL and all these bombs took it out. Saudi Arabia is bombing Yemen, right? Iraq is getting back in pocket, right? The Kurds is jumping up and down. So now it's not a local vision, it's a regional vision. How are we going to fix the whole region? Is the Kurds from Syria, Iraq, and Iran going to be given a little bit of, call it autonomy? They deserve it. Okay, that's part of a new regional vision. It's not bad. Salahuddin Ayyub, who took back Jerusalem, who was a sultan in Egypt, who was a Kurd, right? Salahuddin Ayyub was a Kurd. So before, we didn't think of ourselves as, you just had a name, you know, Abdul Alim al-Iraqi or something like that. He's just a brother from Iraq. Muslim al-Isfahani, from Isfahan. Imam Muslim, collective hadith, from Isfahan in Iran. That's all. Number 5, victory. Long process of regional development. And then we have here personal Islam. That means Islam is improvement. I keep mentioning this because this is so heavy that they don't even, all they can do is respond to it. But they don't, it ain't nobody even come close to this analysis. It ain't nobody even mentioned it. And then later on, remember, we got dealt with Equan, we say, you're evolving, but you're evolving behind the curve. You're not keeping up with the progress. You are evolving, Equan. And the street prayer said last year, he said they might be wanting to invite you now, since Saudi Arabia put them on the terrorist list or something. What we're trying to say is this: we have a strategic relationship with the world of Islam. And with Allah's help, we are playing our part right now. And it's a big part. It's not no small part. I move toward okay. So we have to review various possibilities, why we chose protracted struggle, delay, and psychological guerrilla warfare. Why we chose that. Okay, we chose that because that came from years of study and understanding. The COINTEL program, how it's initiated, when does it get popular? If you read the common history, will say that the white kids broke into the FBI office in Media, Pennsylvania in 1971 and got all the COINTEL program information. Well, the real information might be that the FBI wanted that information to get out because the rebellion was dead by 71. Just think about 71, the rebellion is through. The last hot summer was 68 or 69. There's no more long hot summers. Remember, the long hot summer's coming. The niggas gonna be jumping. No. 69 had to be the last one. If 68 wasn't. Wow. The Black Panther Party in California is still functioning, but it's dead. Everybody got a case and run off. Bobby Seale and them and Erica Huggins and them, Bobby Seale is handcuffed to the chair, leg irons to the chair, and got a gag around. Man, and they talk about, they use the word justice, and you're sitting in the court, shackled to a chair, right? Gagged and bound.
They call it Chicago 7, right?
It was Chicago 8.
Chicago 8.
This is insanity. But this is what was going on. The movement was dead by 71. They wanted people to know. When I came here, do you remember the Panamanians people, them two girls from Panama and Sharifa and them, and there was one guy called Imani, the so-called black nationalist that was taking all information about the COINTEL program around, and he gave me a whole list of the COINTEL program. I think he gave it to me so I would, he did it on purpose, so I would know, the FBI is letting me know what you're up against. The only thing is we already know what we're up against. And they had the church hearings in 1973, 74, and they finished up in 75 on COINTEL program, and nothing ever happened. They never stopped it. They got it now. It's worse now than it ever was. They take you off a plane now for reckless eyeballs. Remember, reckless eyeballs used to be looking at a white woman. Now, reckless eyeballs is you a Muslim and you roll your eye. Hup, get them off the plane, you gotta go. Did that the other day?
It just happened the other day on United Air.
United Air, yeah. Just reckless eyeballs. Yeah. They used to hang Negroes in the South. That was part of Emmett Till's thing, reckless eyeballs and talking, whistling at a white woman. Well, that's hanging offense to kill the poor fellow. Now, reckless eyeballs is rolling your eyes on an airplane or walking down the aisle. Oh no, you got to get off the plane. You roll your eyes.
And here come our friends who care so much.
Care does care.
With the rolling eyeballs.
And care won't, but they can shoot up the Masjid in Oakland. They can throw fire. The niggas can do anything they want to us, and he won't take a call.
Sure.
It is so.
It is written in every
irrelevant. You just said that,
yeah.
And it just came to mind. Yeah, they didn't come to you. I mean,
for nothing.
For nothing. And
with nothing.
And that's how irrelevant they are.
But
it was like you just made it known that they didn't come to your aid at all.
Nothing. They don't even call. Now that's the beautiful thing about it.
Wow.
Don't nobody call.
Right.
Nobody. The people in Oakland that's there when we set up everything and they know the whole, nobody called. That means we gotta be doing the right thing. It's not possible that you help everybody, right? Like we help everybody. Just look here, we helped everybody. Now why wouldn't nobody we heard something out in Oakland, you all right? That's the hadith. They have to do that. If your brother hurt, then you got to respond. You have to feel the pain, but he's not your brother.
I think they react to the point of always feeling like, the sense of spotlight is on you. Oh, he's hot. He's hot.
He's hot. Yeah,
just get out of the way, right?
Well, no, we like it how we doing what we designed the program to be hot. That's what it's designed, to suck up all oxygen.
But there's a jealousy going on too.
Yeah.
Because of the courageousness.
Yeah.
Because it makes people look real stupid. Mm-hmm. They talk all that Quran and Sunnah and Hadith stuff.
Yes,
and then busting the grape.
Mm-hmm. Hey.
Make them look real bad. It's like, man, that guy, man, if you got them together and you really gave some truth serum, because you had to give him a serum, it ain't gonna come out of them naturally. They'll tell you, they say, I got to give it to him, boy. That Negro, man, he is correct. Well, the care guy told you that. He said, look.
What's the name? I took him one of the old articles, Strategic Management Under Conditioner. And he had, when I'm talking to him, he is reading. And say, paying attention now, brother? Yeah. When it's all over, he just looks at me and said, Imam Musa, your thin is thicker than mine.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, he said, your thin is, hey man, yeah, he not made for that. They're not made for it, but they're living no.
But that's good.
Allah trained you to do that job. Ain't nobody trained for that job. Ain't nobody trained to design a program to draw all the heat. It's like what Trump is doing and talking. He talking to get everybody thinking about him, and it's working. Everything we did it on purpose. That's why every now and then we study sports psychology. Why we study this? Because it talks about the top sports people, how they think and how they do. And that's why we come up with stuff like Al-Islam, improvement. It talks about also sports team when they in the zone. They just click it. Okay, the same thing happens in Islam when you just click it. Okay. Another thing is top athletes, as it says in here, we read it before, is that when they go to higher levels of competition, sometimes it's not just to win. They consider winning when they improve their own best. You know what I mean? So like for us, winning is not what's winning with them. Winning is that we're improving with our own self, whether anybody else know it or not. See, we know that when we face a big challenge, we know whether, if it was 20 years ago and somebody came in the masjid talking crazy, we'd beat them with an iron pipe. Not that we did it, we did it a couple of times. These people say these niggas come in talking crazy. And, you know, we just stripped our little iron pipe. You know the little iron, you know the dumbbell, the old time dumbbells, the pipe is about this long. And, put the little screws on the side, and you strip all that iron off, and you got this iron pipe like that, man, we'd hit nobody in the head because you'd kill them. Especially you young and, lifting 300-400 pounds. Boy, but when you'd hit them niggas, you could almost hear them bones. Oh! You hurt me. I said, didn't y'all say I was paranoid? I said, well, you paranoid. Ain't nobody doing nothing to you. What you hollering about? You paranoid. Hey, man, they came back again. One fool came back, and he got the same thing. That was then. Stripped that iron bar, and, hey, man, when you hit arms and shoulders, I know they was in the hospital, and they running out, and you hit them on their behind, hit their leg. Hey, man, them niggas was hurting. They never came back to Masjid Al-Islam. That's what they expected me to do in Mukhtar. They expected me to come in talking crazy. That's why I say they don't know your improvement. Right. Al-Islam. We're studying Islam. You have to have an evolved policy. An evolved policy for us is, at this time, is nonviolent. I'm not talking about, not against jihad. We're pro-jihad because jihad is a concept. But for our struggle here right now, it's nonviolent. You see what I mean? And the greatest, some of the greatest people in the world are sports people. I mean, that training mechanism, how they train, how they think. Well, we study sports psychology. Then you equate your Islamic psychology with sports psychology and see if you're traveling in a similar direction. Now, this is a book on criminal investigation. And so we've been dealing with this. If you remember, I was saying back in the 70s before I left the country, I got all the books in the library, all the FBI and everything, and I came up with a conclusion that 93% of the people that went to federal court for drugs, blacks, they all went to the penitentiary. So I left. I said, shoot, 97, that's right, 97% of the people busted upside the head, they walked through that door. 3% gonna walk on through. Now, when you wealthy and powerful, you think, man, I'm lucky, I'm the nigga gonna make it. I didn't think like that. I said,
exception to the rule.
7 out of 100.
Yeah, I think I'm the exception.
I said, I don't think the brother's gonna hit that number. So I left. But we studied criminal investigation. And we already know about criminal investigation, but we want to study, are they following their rules on search and seizure, due process, field notes and reports. You know, when I say they didn't do the proper procedure on my son, I go right to the criminal investigation book and see. Of course, we know it already anyway. But rules of collecting evidence, chain of custody, when they come into the masjid and take me to jail and the money is gone, that means when we get into court, we'll say, what's the chain of custody? Who did who? You know? You gotta have, they can't convict you in court unless it's a chain of custody. If they lose chains of the custody, you know, being a dope dealer, I said, you gotta let the brother go. You mean you had to dope here? Well, who moved it over there? We don't know. Finish. Your Honor, gotta let the brother go. They don't know how the dope got from over here to over there. From this locker to that locker. Right. Don't nobody know the chain of custody. Didn't nobody sign for it. We don't know what they did in there. That might be dope. The brother might have had milk sugar. In fact, I'm sure the brother had milk sugar. He got little babies, just milk stuff he had, if he had anything at all. Whatever it is, we don't know what they did to that. That might be heroin now, or cocaine. And he had milk sugar. Cause there ain't no chain. The point I'm making, they have everything in their criminal, what they teach. You want to stay up to date. This is 2005, so we'll get another one more up to date. But all on how they deal with terrorism and all of their stuff is what do they teach in their schools now, crime schools. What do they teach? What do all of them have to take? Okay, now they're gonna teach each other what they gotta teach. They're gonna teach surveillance and how they do it, and they're gonna do all that type of thing. Okay, so you just want to stay up with the normal procedure. But we have learned the real process by interacting with the system. Okay, so in closing, we're going, inshallah, overseas soon. It should be maybe May and June, but I don't know. Ramadan looks like it's going to kick off around the 5th or 17th. No, it's more like the 6th. No, it was 18th last year. So just take 10 days off. It'll probably be the 7th or 8th, if I remember. Okay, of June. So I don't know. Generally, whether it's now or whether it doesn't make any difference, because we're not on any schedule. But the thing is now is to republicize our stuff. What we're doing right now is popularizing the information. It'll be more written information and rewritten information. A lot of our Sabiquns just need to be rewritten and updated. You know, change the title, change and update some of the modern things. Some of it was written 20 years ago and even more. And but the information is current and up to date. And we don't have to research new ayats or nothing. All the ayats and hadith are there. The main thing I'm trying to say is that we're doing our job. And this is a job we believe. Personally, I'm very confident on the concept of destiny. We all believe in destiny, it's part of, but when you get to moving in it a little bit, you know, you can see the way Allah is arranging your destiny, and that's the way. And the last thing is using everything for the benefit of Islam. Here's the last thing. They put this book, I showed y'all this many times. This is a great book. War in the Shadows of Guerrilla History. 2,000 years of guerrilla war from the ancient Persia to the present. This is called War in the Shadows. This is of all the historical guerrilla movements. It's got, when you read about William Wallace, remember Braveheart?
Oh, yeah.
It reads in this book literally word for word, except it's only 3 pages. Just what William Wallace was doing.
One of my best movies.
They put this downstairs so I would read this, which I did. They know what Negroes love. This is my favorite stuff right here. I love it. I got stacks of books on all this stuff. Management, strategic management, I love it. Okay. They wanted me, or they wanted us, to adopt physical guerrilla warfare by giving us the background and to show us it could be done. And I read it along with Chairman Mao and all the other people, you know, Carlos Menem Manuel, all that stuff way back. But we changed it to what good for us, psychological guerrilla warfare. In closing, that's why what they was trying to do in Oakland was reverse psychology on us. Reverse psychology is to make you think that if you don't do this way or follow that, you're going to lose. It's exactly wrong. They were not successful at all. We didn't jump, and even they knew if we bring money into it. This guy has been a money manager all his life. You touch his money, he's going to get mad. We get mad at all. But when we was talking, I said, well, I think I'll go down to the bank and see what they say today. And they said, brr. So I said, well, I'm going to go to Sacramento and get paperwork, and then I'll stroll over and see what they say. And they telling me, you should do this, you should. I said, I don't have to do nothing. I said, y'all gave my money away. I don't have to do nothing. And they're down at the house, I said, you should call them. And I said, I'm not calling no niggas and tell them nothing. They can just put the money back or wait till we get ready to deal with it. We'll deal with it when we get ready. But remember, we have to make them pay before we do anything in the court. If they only stole $80,000, we're going to raise $200,000 or $380,000 traveling around the world. First, maybe $500,000. We might, after the people hear our story, to us, we've gotten used to hearing it. But when they hear and they verify, these people are not lying. That's what the whole world needed to know. Remember, they got all the Muslims in Europe, right? In UK and everywhere else. And they hear about what's possible in the US. Think about the Muslims in South Africa, the Muslims in Australia, the Muslims in New Zealand, right? They got Muslims all over the world in a similar situation as us. When we tell them our story with enthusiasm, with concern for them, with relating to them, and with humor, because you can't scare them people to death. We can't let humor out. We've got to keep it humorous.
On that point, I just happened to watch the Weatherman Underground documentary.
Is that right?
Last night.
Okay.
And that's something when they interviewed Kathleen Cleaver.
Right.
She said the exact same thing when COINTELPRO hit them.
Right.
She said, and it made me think about what you said. She said, we lost our love, we lost something else, and we lost our humor. She said exactly that.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Well, see, that makes you paranoid. It makes you not like the Muslim. There's billions of them praying, but they don't trust the guy next to them. We say you can be who you want. You can be the captain, lieutenant, you can be a brother. It don't make us no difference. You're going to face Allah. We're going to face Allah by ourselves, and you ain't going to be there. And when I look in the mirror, because the police will always tell you, well, they won't do that for you. I said, I don't look in them niggas' mirror. I look in the mirror and I see myself. I don't see them niggas.
No, that's right.
I ain't trying, I don't care what they do or what they get. Well, they wouldn't do it for you. I said, they're not me. I do what I have to do.
Yeah, do you, right?
On the day of judgment, don't you know who's going to be there? Me. Not you, Mr. Euro. And the last thing is, the European ain't got nothing to give you. He can't give you nothing because he ain't got it. You can't come back from somewhere you've never been. You don't have peace, tranquility, and harmony. And I will close the last few days I've been watching it again, this reconfirmed. It's a 6-part program, I think 2 hours each, on World War II. And I came to this conclusion watching an American Experience, I guess Sakina, it's almost 10 years ago. It was a good, about World War I, the Great War. And I looked at all that mayhem and murder, I said, that's stupid, man. And I look at these people, I'm not impressed. I said, these people are stupid, man. That everything they do is based on war. I say, even monkeys don't unify and organize to kill all other monkeys. That means monkeys got more sense than the human beings. The wolves, none of the wolves get together and say, we're going to kill all the gray wolves, we're going to kill all the other old brown-looking wolves, and coyotes, we're going to definitely move on them. And use all of our energy and all of everything we can think of to get rid of them. Can you imagine? That's the human being. Hey man, he done had world wars, atomic bombs, and ain't learned nothing yet.
Policy.
The man is crazy. I close this because I done showed y'all this many times. But I took Mukhtar up on the roof, and they didn't sabotage the roof 7 or 8 times, but this was sticking down the pipe. You can see where it's clean around here. I haven't had it so long, it'll be clean all over in a minute. But sticking down there to plug up the pipe, you know, the drain pipe. So water fills up on the roof pretty soon, it comes in somewhere, right? So that's what they was doing. This one is the first one. This is 1981. When we traveled, now you ever seen a spark plug like that? Spark plug goes zoop, just like that, isn't that right? And you tap it with a little gauge. If the spark plug is like that, that spark goes, and it's gonna run rough. We was traveling to raise money in those days, and this is one of the old times. And I had another snitch. He was the other snitch didn't tell him what he had done. So I said, let's check the plug. So he was pulling out the plugs, and he said, I said, you ever seen a plug like that before? He said, I don't know. And he's kind of a mechanic. I said, oh, that's fine. So now we know what we're dealing with. The point is, they didn't want us to travel around the country. That's how we found about the Muslims, and we raised money. We thank everyone for coming today. We are right now in the stage of the Islamic resurgence. The last 35 years was for this purpose that we are now. The last 15 years was specifically for this. All the information, everything acquired was to do what we're doing now, is to help the Muslims believe in themselves, that they can do it. And see, everybody that's seen us do it, they can't say it can't be done. And so we're going to popularize that, become better with all the institutions that we need, because we're going to have to help bring the Muslims along. And it has to be with kindness, optimism, and humor. because nothing else, just the truth by itself, I don't know if it's gonna. So we have, kindness means that we don't blame them for being scared. They're just scared. So they're just scared. Okay? We don't have to remind them, you some scared old joker. Boy, y'all scared. Y'all so scared, you're trying to make me scared. I'm gonna stop visiting you because I might rub on them. We're not gonna do that. We're gonna be kind because they're human beings. And if the white man ever make you mean, you've lost. All the brothers that went through the movement and got mean, finished. And some of my best friends, all of them got mean. They wouldn't laugh about nothing. I tell them, boy, the white folks just did this and just did that, and they thought I was crazy. Because man, you put up with that. I said, well, what should I do? Go down to the White House, maybe go up to the White House, and hang a few police. I said, suppose I shoot a dumb police. I said, you know how many people waiting for that job? You know, one of the white boys that gave up. Y'all ever heard of Latuna? Latuna is a federal joint right in Anderson, New Mexico. Is right near El Paso. You can almost see the Mexican border. It's called Latuna, the cactus. I was coming through there from McNeil Island, Terminal Island, then we came the southern route, Florence, Arizona, then Latuna. So, in those days they had one of the white boys, one of the Weather Underground types. He was in the hole there. And I was shackled with another white boy that was going to Atlanta, and I was going to Leavenworth. He was a yogi, a good white boy, you know, yoga and all that stuff. So anyway, he was talking to the other white boy, the one that was, he said, well, the guy's given up. He said, it's just like, he said that if you break your head up against the wall, bang your head against the wall, he said all they do is come around with some other guy, pay him $3 or $4 an hour, plaster the wall up. In other words, the system. He'd given up on the system because the Weather Underground had switched to violence.
Right, right.
We don't blame people for, but we're not choosing no violence.
Right.
In fact, that's what they wanted. They wanted violence. They want us to, return evil for evil.
Right. And that's what I learned. I'm gonna rewatch it, but every tactic that they used was the wrong one.
Yeah.
Based on what I'm learning now.
Yeah.
And that caused ascension amongst themselves and doubt amongst them, because they were like, hold up, do we really want to start, acting like America, or kill us?
See, they didn't remember that nobody knew. See, one thing, they cut off you notice in the Black Rebellion, you don't hear nothing about Paul Robeson.
Right.
Paul Robeson was a veteran of the movement. Paul Robeson,
Dude.
yeah, man, he died in about 76, but nobody asked him nothing. Nobody asked him nothing. You know what I mean? So, we learn all over again.
Right.
When you do that, the one that's doing it, just like old J. Edgar Hoover said in the Panthers, the movie Panther, we've been before this again. We've seen this before, right? They had the German Bulls, all the groups, the communists. We didn't see this before. And before the people know it, now by 72 or 73, you could tell people what happened. It's too late. That's why we're proactive. We go out in front of them. And we delay. Delay is magic. You delay a long time. Delay makes their program evident. If you act just like that, if they do something to you and you react, you're reactionary. And they kill you and you're finished. But if you delay, then we got to do something else. That's what we did in California, delayed and delayed and delayed. And they kept increasing. And every time they increase, more and more people see. Pretty soon we said, well, y'all can stop now. They didn't stop, they kept on. We said, thank you very much. So, and we didn't call it a policy of delay either. Good God Almighty, 1 hour and 43 minutes. That's what this says. Okay, we could, are there any questions or comments about anything? You had your hand.
Yeah, damn.
Well, I didn't talk to the...
No, it was on the top of my head, but I forgot.
Okay. Well, dear believers, again, we thank you for participating. This right here is part of our counter-offensive, just getting our news out. And we'll improve all the things that we need to do in writings, in cyberspace, shortly our own movies. That means we make our own movies, imagine. The first stage, we just make our own movies, our own script, our own everything, okay? We don't have to worry about quality. In the first stage, we just put them on DV and distribute them everywhere free. Then we'll do another one. The second one will be better. Probably by the fifth one, it'll be like 21st century Muslim or something. We'll be on a roll. Al-Islam, we will improve. Remember, our process is improvement through doing, not just reading about it and studying about it, but by doing it. That's what brings, yes.
They had a thing on Fred Williamson on Unsung.
My homeboy.
I didn't know he was that rough.
Right.
He said when he approached Hollywood with his movies,
Right.
and all them black exploitation movies,
Right.
he said he had 3 demands. He said, number one, he wasn't gonna get killed in the movie.
Right.
He said, and number two, that he would, well, one of them was that he would always get the girl,
Right.
you know, and then he had another one he said.
Like the white folks, or you gonna treat me like the white folks, like they always get
Yeah,
the
oh
girl.
yeah, and that,
Yeah.
now he wasn't gonna get killed, he wasn't gonna lose no fight in the movie,
Right.
and then he'll get the girl. He said that was his program in any movie he made.
Okay, but let's go back to 1973. Africa. When we asked the movement in Africa what they wanted, what could we get them, you know what they said? Blaxploitation movies. You know why? Because it showed niggas whooping white folks. To them, the white man was born in Cuba. When we whooped white folks in Dar es Salaam one time, I could go there right now and stand around for about 10 minutes, somebody gonna come and, I remember you. You whooped them white folks back in 71 or something. That's what they wanted. They didn't need clothes, they didn't need weapons. They got all that from the communist. They needed to see black people whipping white folks, thinking and acting. Now all them shafts and all of that stuff, everything might have fell flat or influenced people over here a little, but it influenced the black movement in Africa, the liberation movement. That's the first thing they asked for. You can ask Pete O'Neill, he's still over there. First thing the Africans asked for, send us some of them blaxploitation movies.
That's what I always liked about Superfly. I always liked the end part of it.
Yeah.
He told that dude, he said, yeah, he said, I know who you are. You Commissioner Reardon.
Reardon.
He said, I know you, your wife,
And your
that
faggot.
big lead daughter of yours, and that faggot
Faggot
son of
son.
yours.
Yeah,
He said, you better not harm a hair on my pretty head.
that's right.
Nothing better happen to me. He went about this. We like that part, boy, because
Oh, yeah.
he rode off in the Cadillac in the sunset, man. He might as well be in the Western, you know what I mean?
And that beautiful lady, and he went on to Europe, and then he went to Africa and joined the liberation struggle.
She's still around, Sheila Frazier.
Is that
Yeah,
right?
they showed her on Unsung with, they had her on there too to talk about Fred Williamson. Fred Williamson's 78 years old now, man.
Yeah, yeah.
He almost 80.
Well, see, just think, when we have our own movies. Now, at first we'd give them away, but after about the 10th movie, you know, they'll be writing for them and what have you. But it's a part of we have to create our own image.
Well, I'm gonna play the hero wherever
Hey.
you're in the movie. I'm going.
Well,
I may not be on top billing with you, but I'm gonna
Hey.
be a semi-hero. I'm not being
well,
killed in the
that's
first
part
5
of
minutes.
that's part of the thing that all of us get to play heroes. You think, hey man, I'm not playing no garbage man or nothing, right? In fact, we ain't gonna even have garbage men, and we ain't gonna have everybody gonna be a hero
Right.
or a recovering hero, moving toward heroism, right?
Right.
They don't have no bad guys in American movies. Benedict Arnold is the only bad guy in the Revolutionary War. You'd think that he was the only bad guy in the Revolutionary War. It was thousands of them.
A bit of the arms.
Yeah, everybody else is a hero. Ben Franklin was a hero. Slave owner Thomas Jefferson is a hero. All of them is heroes. They bums, but they heroes. So we're not bums, of course, but we're going to be heroes. If we, and I'll close with this. They have a story in Africa about the lion, the hunter and the lion. And the hunter, they say, why does the hunter always win and the lion loses all the time? He said, well, when the lion starts telling the story, his own story, then he'll be the winner. In other words, if the hunter telling the story, he always gonna be the winner, right? If the white man always tell a story, we gonna be backwards, dumb niggas. So, and when we tell it, the white man gonna be a fool and a clown, and we gonna make it. That's what we gonna do. All white folks, we gonna do that. Be racist. We now no reverse racism, but the system
yeah.
will be foolish. We have to show how stupid these people are. Okay, we'll close with walas, inshallah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Walas, inna al-insana lafi khus, illa alladhina amanu wa amilu salihat wa tawasaw bil haqq wa tawasaw bis sabr.